Hello, everyone. Welcome to John and Dylan Online, a show where two comedians talk about internet history sometimes.
I'm going to correct you. Two losers. Two
Two
loser.
fucking alpha cucks.
Two alpha fucking cucks. That's right. We choose to let you do that to the people that we want to
Yeah.
see it done to.
Have you ever met a comedian who, told you
Yes.
they fucked someone's wife?
Oh my God. I listened to one of the most fucked versions of that story ever. I was in this pub 2 weeks ago, and there was this guy in here, and his wife, she's a Nazi, and I had sex with her.
No.
And I said, and I remember I said, why'd you need to specify the Nazi part? And he was like, I don't know. I'm like, okay.
Just want to let you know that I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. It was like, I just want to let you know, if you're a Nazi, I want to have sex with you. It was so weird.
Yeah.
Also, where do you think
You're a
that took
Nazi?
place?
That's cool. I'll make Nazis feel good. I actually love. I'm not a Nazi myself, but I love it when Nazis feel good.
That took place in Stockton, UK. Stockton, UK.
Yeah,
It did.
yeah.
I don't know if it took place in the butt. Um, later that night, a lady who looked like a little mouse walked up to me and said, "Are you gonna fuck me, Roger?" And I said, "My name is John." And she went, "Wrong guy."
That's good stuff.
Oh man, sometimes you're like, well, glad I'm not a creep. But I'll tell you who is also not a creep. The woman we're going to talk about right now. I don't know if we'll talk about it much, but I just actually did some research for
Can
this
I ask
episode.
something? Can I say something?
No. Yes.
Comedian Ryan Denny has one of the funniest stories where
Yes, he does.
freshly angry because his wife had just been like, "You're cheating on me on the road, aren't you? You're fucking cheating on me on the road." And he went, "Honey, well, by the way, Ryan is a large Irishman and his wife is like a very petite woman. So he's like, first of all, you're the only good looking woman that's ever looking to me. Second of all, I got hit on one time at a gig and it was a lady who said, you look dangerous, and then asked me to hold her spittoon while she spat chew into it. I don't think that's ever going to happen, honey." Which is so funny. We're like, you're good looking. Hold my spittoon. Ting! The ting means we're meant to be, boy. So anyway, we're talking about Jenny Marbles, a woman.
Jenna Marbles, you fuck. Get the
no,
whoa! I didn't
not like I know her. I know her as Jenny.
Oh, I didn't realize we've been invaded by the wokerati now.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite thing about Jenna Marbles is she basically, and we're gonna do a bit of Pulp Fiction here. Get to the end at the beginning. She gets quote unquote canceled, but you can see her being so tired of being on YouTube that she literally goes like, "This is a good reason to leave," and then leaves. That's my whole theory was like, yes, she has genuine remorse for the things she said and did, but also clearly was like, oh man, if I want to come back from this, that's going to require so much mental energy that I don't have. I'm fucking done.
Yeah, here's the thing with Jenna Marbles. Jenna Marbles basically personified and created the model for all YouTubers that she posted daily to weekly consistently. I think it's Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 for 10 years. You can look at the metrics. She consistently posted, built, adapted using tropes of internet vlog culture, and also found and hit upon a couple of things really luckily. She was Dave Portnoy's assistant in 2010. So she was one of the first women that was even I can only imagine what Barstool was like in 2010.
And one of the first women where Dave Portnoy was like, yeah, that shit was all me, that bitch. I can't with all that.
Not only was she on Barstool, she got to be the first thing that Dave Portnoy was like, that was my idea. And it's like, well, Dave, you did Dave mentioned her in a blog, but she then ran with that ball better than I've ever seen anyone taken off. I have never seen someone be given an opportunity. And this woman was given a lighter and she was able to build a furnace that powered the Titanic. It's like, what? And Dave Portnoy is still like, yeah, I did that shit.
Your measure for success being the Titanic is pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, what happened?
Yeah, and then they made a badass movie out of that ship that successfully.
Yeah, you guys know me. I do not see any movie that is two VHS tapes. I've never seen Godfather 2. I've never seen WrestleMania 3. I've never seen Titanic.
Yeah, here's how Titanic, the actual thing that happened. The story that it sunk is a bunch of liberal lies. Here's what really happened. They saw the iceberg. The fucking captain looked at the other captain. There was two captains. They did the fucking handshake from Predator. That's how that was invented. Then they wrote Cowboys from Hell. That's how that was invented. Split the iceberg in two, creating also fucking in the ass. That's how they came up with that too. Was they
Oh, and
split the
also
iceberg and they'd be like, "Whoa, maybe a dick could go in an ass," and then everyone high fived. And then they did that on the Titanic.
I want
That's the fucking real version of what happened,
I,
dog.
I want you to know, I guarantee how, by the way, anal sex was invented was it was two men looking at a lady bent over, and one of them went, "Holy fuck, we can put our dick in that ass." And then someone was like, "Holy my god!" Like they're like, "Someone get this man a cloak. He's a king." I want you to.
No, have you ever seen The Quest for Fire?
No.
You've never seen it? All right. Here's my favorite thing about A Quest for Fire is that it won an Oscar. It's just about cavemen, so there's no words in it. And there's a part in the movie where the guy is like, "I'm gonna fuck you." He's just like, they're cavemen. He's trying to do it up the pussy to her, and then she's like, "Yo, check it out, put it in my butt," and then that's a part of the movie.
That
And
is
they
not part of
showed
the
us to
movie. Don't
that.
believe it.
She's like, and then he's like, "Whoa." And then also there's that same thing for no, maybe it's a blowjob. I'm sorry. She invents the blowjob,
Yeah. It's not.
and
It's
then
they're not going to invent anal
yeah, they
sex in a
can't
movie.
specify. They can't make it that obvious anyway.
Ooga
But then
ooga.
but they showed us that in history class when I'm assuming the teacher was like, "I'm getting drunk on Thursday. On Friday, they're just gonna watch A Quest for Fire or whatever." And then that my favorite time that anyone ever did that was they showed in careers, they showed us the movie Election, and the lady did not watch it first. And you know how that movie starts, right?
I've seen it, but I don't remember how it starts.
Literally, the movie starts with a guy going, "Her pussy gets so wet," and she's like, "Oh fuck!" She did not. She's like, "I just thought it was about school elections." I'm like, "Why didn't you look at the R rating, you fucking idiot?"
I mean, that's real good stuff. That's real good stuff. My favorite was a kid brought what movie was it? Brought the movie Eraser in the last 3 days of grade 5. We could just bring in movies to watch, and it was like Casper, et cetera, et cetera. And someone just brought in Eraser. I just remember like the teacher being like, "Who said this was all right for you to bring in?" And I could tell his tone was like, "Listen, I don't give a shit if you're watching Eraser at home, but what kind of fucking parrot's like, all right, it's got Arnold Schwarzenegger, James Caan. You're 10. Take this and your dinner, or your lunch, which I assume is an onion and a bottle of vodka to school."
Onion is dope because it's like, I made you lunch. Also, it requires work.
Yeah, yeah. I made you lunch, but I want to make sure that you are not liked and you do not like me. So Jenna Marbles basically is just a YouTuber. She does weird YouTube sketches. They're very much on zeitgeist and scene. She really looks like a lady in 2009. She's got real promo model energy, which doesn't exist really anymore. They're just people you'd see at nightclubs. She goes viral because she does a bunch of videos about how men should stop grinding on women. Do you remember grinding, Dylan? I forgot about grinding.
No, her big video, the thing that like popped off was she did the video, which is how her and Dave Partnoy started getting angry with each other. Was that or no, Dave Partnoy took credit for success because the video was called "How to Trick Everyone into Thinking You're Hot," and it just showed her no makeup, and then she gets ready to be I think she was like a waitress or something at a club. So it's like and then she just shows how to do that. That's it. That's the whole and then that pops off crazy. And since it's like 2010 and it's like the idea of someone putting effort into a YouTube video is new.
Insane.
Like, yeah, like we did an episode on Shoe Nice. Literally, the top people on YouTube is like, "I'm gonna eat a boot, and then I'm gonna tell you about the Jewish problem." And then that's like, we're like, "Well, I don't like the Jewish problem part, but he did eat a boot, and that's hard to do."
I mean, let's not defend YouTube so much until he was forcibly removed by the tech companies. Who was the largest account on YouTube by a sizable margin, and who was the most watched person on YouTube?
Ally McJones.
It was Alex Jones, correct. Followed quickly by John and Dylan. Us.
So she spends her teenage years in Rochester, New York. The only reason she's named Jenna Marbles is because her mom is unemployed when she starts doing YouTube and goes, "Hey, our last name is the only thing that comes up when if you Google me. It's just my daughter's videos about how men should stop grinding. So please fucking change your name." And she changes it to Jenna Marbles, which is named after her little doggy. It's all very nice until you get into the actual content that she's putting out at this period, which is ignorant. Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's very, what I would also say, it's very 2010 internet, weird sort of like, we've got this girl to somehow entertain these incels. And it's just so fucking on the nose. And then, yes, she does the how to get hot. There's a bunch of grinding videos. This is all the period of time where her and Dave Portnoy are having a feud. This is the feud, by the way, from Dave Portnoy's perspective. I launched you. I am the reason that you are famous. I mentioned you 1 million times, and I paid for everything. And also, I gave you the pleasure of knowing how big my penis is because I would describe the length, and let's not mention the girth in the office and at your house where I would go sometimes a lot. Here's her perspective. I was your employee. You mentioned me once on a blog. I ran with that and built my entire empire. I'm not watermarking all of my videos Barstool Sports for the rest of time as you continue to insist that I have to. So the answer is no. And then Dave Portnoy lost, and how you know Dave Portnoy loses is when Dave Portnoy then just talks about how happy he is for the person's success. So anytime now Jenna Marbles is mentioned, Dave Portnoy talks about, and this is true, she trends #1 on all social media because people are still like, where is she? And he's always like, good to see Jenna still making people think. And it's like, fuck you, Dave. You're such a dick that I still kind of like.
He yeah, I've only ever heard bad things about Dave Portnoy, and I don't really look at Barstool stuff because it's like every time I see a Barstool thing, it's just like annoying. I don't know.
Can I say
it
this?
I don't like, yeah.
I find Barstool are it feels like Barstool are the people that we pretended to be when we were doing characters during the wrestler review is what it feels like.
Yeah,
literally
Barstool are people who you would do as a character. Yeah, it's the same thing as like it's like a Danny McBride character. It's like that's a good example of how people should be. It's like, oh no, he's doing a character. It's like, no,
I mean, it's even getting scarier now because it's also like that application of that character has now been taken to the Pat McAfee show, where it came out yesterday that Aaron Rodgers has been paid as a broadcasting part of that show to appear and talk. He's been paid millions of dollars in the ESPN deal and FanDuel and all that sort of stuff. And it's not been this organic place where he goes to air his grievances. He's being paid to say shit that brings in clicks. And you're just like, can nothing be organic anymore? Can nothing just be someone talking into a microphone? Does everything have to be, oh, actually, he's being paid and this is a cynical ploy? Bring me back Jenna Marbles. Bring her back. Yeah, she did blackface, but you know,
she did it on her own fucking terms.
She's not fucking Aaron Rodgers. I fucking hate. I don't even like football. I don't even give a fuck. I just hate Aaron Rodgers. Know what Aaron Rodgers is? He's this guy at a party. Yeah. And so I drank all your booze. Why'd you do that? It's a party, man. You're like, that's fucked up. That's fucked. No, it's not though. I just need you to acknowledge you're being weird at the party. You did something fucked up. You started the weirdness. Nah. You don't get me. No, I do get you. You're the kind of person that when you're 50, you're going to suck. And you're probably also going to get diagnosed with some sort of very treatable cancer. And you're not going to go to a doctor. You're going to go to a fucking shaman and you will die, hopefully in front of your children. I fucking hate everything Aaron Rodgers represents. Go ahead, Dylan.
One time I was at a party and this girl I was seeing stole this other person's booze and they caught us red-handed, and the girl, I forget because I was so fucked up what she said, but she just like completely dealt with it. And you could see the other girl walking away who got her booze stolen being like, I let that woman and that ugly guy off the hook. And I was like, yeah, you did. I would have thrown a large fit.
First of all, we all know that who you stood next to so to know that ugly guy, because we all know she walked away going, oh my God, I can't believe I let that lady and that alpha and that ugly guy.
yeah. I can't believe I let that fucking non-soy boy alpha who rules. Anyway,
yeah, I can't believe
that's what they say now.
I can't believe I let that guy doing all those push-ups not deal with that situation for me because he clearly had it handled. That would have been a fun way to handle it, by the way. So she walked, hey, is that my booze? And you went, I got it, actually. Hey.
I wonder if Jenna Marbles was instructive for Barstool, because now Barstool has these crazy, like, we get all your IP contracts. And in 2010, I don't think they did. And when Jenna Marbles is writing for Barstool, she basically, like, comes up with this video, goes crazy viral on YouTube at a time where, like, people are... Now, no social media sites like this anymore. TikTok was during the pandemic, where people are just like, oh, that's funny, I'll follow them. Like, they're like excited to use the site. And Jenna Marbles comes along when people are genuinely excited to use YouTube. Now, the thing is, she keeps on growing because her content goes from like I'm in my 20s and I'm like a fucking lady who will just fucking shoot from the hip, baby, to it grows up like all the people watching her channel are all fucking women and
Whoa.
she grows up with them. So it's like her content goes from like here's why sluts are fucking pieces of shit. Why you giving your pussy away? We're supposed to fucking guard that, women, to like I'm going to make this cake with my dog.
Do you remember that? I do remember the late aughts, early tens, like the last gasp of slut shaming. Oh, it was really
Oh my
good.
god. I remember there's a girl who a female comedian who now is, you know, she's like super she's super progressive now. And even then she was super progressive, but her closer was about like how she likes to go up for walks so she can look whores in the eyes and judge them for the mistakes they made. It was like the punchline was like you lock eyes with them, and I'm like, and then you lock eyes, you know, or something. It was something about like the premise was they make me feel really shitty for going to bed at 10, and I just wake up at 5 just to look them in the eyes and be like, "How was Darren? Did Darren sweat in you? I bet he sweat in your mouth, didn't he?" That was, and there was, and it would always do well. I'm like all stand-up comedy, as Eddie Murphy brilliantly said it. You just paraphrase the parts you remember and make the person seem like an idiot. But yeah.
I just want to
Fuck
say
you,
this.
man, Eddie. Fuck you, Eddie. That's still one of the funniest jokes. Fuck you, Eddie. So good. Anyway.
I mean, the Bill Cosby, him calling Richard Pryor after Bill Cosby told him to stop swearing. That's that bit. Oh my god, that's a bad special. That special's one of the worst ever. Just fashion alone, but that bit's fun.
The part where it's just if you just watch Delirious and then you watch the first, well, don't watch it now. If you watch Delirious when I was in grade 7, like I did.
Exactly.
And then you watch the first 10 minutes of Raw where it's just basically a epilogue to Delirious, then it's like this is great.
You're totally correct. That actually should be Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy is, I think, the greatest example of someone should have just showed up at his house in 91 with a gun and just blown his brains out. Just what are you doing? And be like, listen, we do not need Beverly Hills Cop 3. What? Bam!
I don't know, man. You don't like,
I do.
You didn't like The Nutty Professor?
I did not.
Guy gave Dave Chappelle his big break. Otherwise, if he didn't give Dave Chappelle his big break, then how would we know that trans people are bad?
Yeah, man. I mean, thank God we have Dave for that. I mean, let me say this: we
you know
would
who
have
the other
fine.
person. You know who the manager of the comedy club was in that scene? In the Nutty
John
Professor?
Hastings.
J.K. Rowling.
Shut up.
Yeah, it was J.K. Rowling.
Is that true?
Yeah, and you
I
know
believe
who the
this.
waiter was at the table?
Graham Linehan.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, I don't know who that is, but yeah, it was him.
He's another noted person who doesn't like trans people.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I assumed. That's why I agreed.
Yeah. No, we know how to riff. So yeah, Jenna Marbles just grows a giant YouTube account. It's really big. It's really popular. Dave Portnoy doesn't like it because he's not getting credit for it and is probably wearing something horrific and eating like pizza.
Dave Portnoy is convinced people that he's worthy of paying attention to, and it's like I assume, to use the old sports analogy, it's
Go
like
on.
It's like your team is amazing, but you literally let like one of the greatest players of all time go for nothing. Because he could have just been like, yeah, do whatever you want. We just want to like fund your channel or something. But really, Jenna Marbles, which she puts it very well.
Let me just ask you this. So you're calling Dave Portnoy the Edmonton Oilers of the internet and Jenna Marbles is Wayne Gretzky? That makes that makes Dave Portnoy Peter Poglington. Yeah.
He still won. Wayne Gretzky still won so many Stanley Cups with the Edmonton Oilers. All of the ones that he ever won. I'm talking about like I don't even know. The Pacers, they would look at Larry Bird and a guy was like, no. He can't jump.
First of all,
he looks like. What else do you want? This is Indiana. We invented the Klan. What do you want from me?
And first of all, depending on the year, the Klan was invented in Colorado. Don't act like we both don't know that. That's right.
Snowboarding Klan? That's cool.
That's right. The mountain's white. That's how they started with the idea. No, I completely agree with you.
Burn the cross at the end of this mountain while I hit this lit fucking fakie.
My God, I don't know why, but the KKK seems so much less scary if you imagine them snowboarding.
I always thought it was funny that it's like that they use Dungeons and Dragons language. Like, do you want to? How about I call myself the leader? No, you're the Grand Wizard because we all have magic spells we use.
Oh, it's so embarrassing.
God, Gary,
Everything.
no, call me Crebulat, Lord of the Moon.
Oh my God. The more you read about, you read about the fucking like all those militias that wanted to do a coup during January 6th. Like one of the Proud Boys that was like in charge of holding the Capitol, his nickname was something like Slurpee Pants. Like, do you know how embarrassing history would have been if that had been successful? America was taken over by fascists. They were led by Scooby-Doo Simon and Jimmy Shitpants. It's just like, fuck.
But I mean, the like one of the things that led to almost the overthrow of the government was what's been proven now is the QAnon, which was started as Big Dick Anon, and then he changed his name to Q Anon and just started saying that he was in the government, and then so many people believed it that
First of all, Dylan,
the mod took over, and and then QAnon was born. The mod took over his account and was like, people are believing this is great.
First of all, you've missed a bunch of steps in it. Big Dick Anon was another person. It started off on an account called Ask the Something, and people would pretend or LARP to be FBI Anon. And then a South African man named Paul Ferber created QAnon that was stolen by these two fucks in fucking stupid the Philippines who suck. And yeah, it was literally stolen by every white guy you meet in Asia. If you're in that part of Asia and you meet a white guy, they are like one of the two QAnon fucking father and son team that stole Q. Oh, it's all a nightmare. The internet sucks. Can we all go back to ICQ? Let's go back to ICQ.
No, I mean, that's not true. Is that which is something I actually did. I did a show for a dude's birthday party because his wife was like, he hates comedy, this will be great. Which is also like the amount of wives.
I gotta tell you, the amount of
my wife, he fucking hates being talked to. I'm gonna fucking make him angry. And they're always like, the husband's always rich, and she always just like, yeah, I work out 6 days a week. Where I'm like, well, he does something weird to you that makes you not like him. Where it's like, hey, get revenge for me in front of my friends, but also make it seem like a show. But anyway,
it's amazing how many relationships I'm like, oh, I see why this doesn't work. Like, I remember when I was hired to do a roast of the board of directors of Via Rail because the wife of the president likes roasts. And then there were just 8 people that hated it.
They just don't talk. They don't talk to each other.
It's amazing.
The husband and wife do not communicate. Anyway,
Dylan, we both live with women.
Here's a weird spot.
Imagine
a weird point.
Go ahead.
Mention a weird point.
Go ahead with your weird point.
There were 30 people there, 15 white men, 15 Filipino women. Every single guy there was a white dude who went to the Philippines, got a wife. And literally the oldest person there and the oldest wife was there was the late. She basically was like, oh, you like me? Your friend will like my friend. And then he was like, okay. And then they're all happily married. Anyway, let's leave our
happily.
lives.
Hang on. Happily.
Married. I mean, yeah. Also, there was 34 people there because 4 people were Filipino who just straight up no English at all. It was very fun.
Yeah, been there.
That was great.
Listen, we both live with partners. Do you know how tense are those houses where you're just not communicating with the person you live with? Like, I don't care how big the house is to know that there she is. You know what I mean? Like, this is just a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, seeing your boss in the hallway when you're late every day. Yeah, I get it. I've lived in that for years. But there was one job I had. I don't know if I've told this story where my boss. So I had to, obviously it was a small company, but my direct boss basically shielded me because she was like, you do all this work fast. So I got to work there, but the head ups didn't like me because I just basically refused to do any other job.
Of course.
They kept on like trying to lob other jobs on me to keep me there more. And I'm like, oh no, I like the data entry part. I don't like the talking to people part. So she was like, why don't you ask for a performance review? And I'm like, because they'll fire me. Because I'm like, I won't get a raise. I'll just be fired. I'm not trying to fucking say here.
I'll have you know, as someone that I will never forget this. This performance review was maybe my greatest moment of my life, which was, you do not seem to care about this job. It doesn't seem like you want this job. You need to improve your level of performance. I'm not going to do that. This is a busboy and waiter job. I'm just not going to do that. And I was like, it's the summer. You probably don't want to have to train someone else coming into the busy season. So I think that if you're not happy with this level, it's not going to get any better. And they were like, this is insubordination. And I was like, are you firing me or not? And they were like, no. And I was like, all right, well, Good to know. And I remember walking away being like, what a stupid move on their part where they just went, we don't like this. And I went, it's not improving. And they went, well, that's all we're doing. And let me tell you, Dylan, I didn't steal cash, but I took a free lunch every day from that point on. And I remember my manager, Johnny, said to me, we'll start taking your tips if you do that. And I said to Johnny, that's legal. If you do that, I'll call the fucking cops. And he went, what? And I went, yep. And then the owner was told by Johnny that I said that, and he came in and yelled at Johnny because he was like, do you understand that that is a giant violation of workman's regulations and they'll shut down the business, you idiot? Oh, the best.
Also, maybe if you're running a restaurant, don't hire an 8-foot tall fucking guy with dyspraxia to be your busboy.
Yeah. Also,
hire someone real quick, real small. You got a lot of options. Don't hire a guy who's like, sorry, I tried to open the door and now there's no door.
First of all, I did not say sorry. Second of all, the other thing that was really good is because I was funny, I got the kitchen on my side, and the kitchen were all like real chefs that were brought in from this company and hated the manager. So the other advantage I had.
Oh man, chef humor is just like chef humor was just in that time was just like
hey, you ever hear about the angry pirate? That's where you come in a girl's eye and then you kill her with a sword.
First of all, there were no jokes. There was just a man from Jamaica named Garfield who anytime he saw a pretty lady would just start dancing. Do you think she sees me, John? No, Garfield, there's a full wall between you and her. Go tell her. I'm not going to go tell someone you're dancing. Go tell her. I remember once my manager, Johnny, was yelling at me and Garfield just stopped cooking. I don't like how you treat the rest of the staff. I'm not working for the rest of the day. You have to cook. And then he would always say, like, go call the boss. Go call the boss, Johnny. It was the best. The best.
John.
Dylan.
Jenna Marbles was a very, very big YouTuber. Her stuff evolves from
whoa.
Okay, well, let's talk about how she gets canceled. Basically, her content evolves where it's like it's really fun. It turns into really fun stuff. Like she does a sketch where it's like trying to put 200 fingernails on one fingernail. Stuff like that.
Classic YouTube like nonsense. Like basically everything is a version of Epic Mealtime. I'm gonna try and cut my hair, but with a gun. Like, yeah.
but evolves from that to like, and the thing she says very much is like, I'm not. Someone asked where her talent is, and she's like, I'm not talented in the way that like I can't sing or dance. My talent is like basically building a rapport with people through a screen. She's
a broadcaster. No, Jenna Marbles is an incredibly watchable broadcaster, a la David Letterman. David Letterman's not a talented talker. He's not that funny, but there's something about that guy that's incredibly compelling to watch, and Jenna Marbles has it.
Yeah, and she also builds up like a really great rapport with her fan base to the point where like as of right now, she's still at 19.4 million subscribers. If I had 0.4 of a million, I'd be that would be goddamn life changing. And that she still has 19 million other subscribers.
And she's completely off the internet. Basically, in and amongst, as I understand it, in and amongst all these different times of rising through all the sketches, she does two things. One, she pretends to be Nicki Minaj. The other one, she just straight up does blackface. Is that what I understand?
It's one sketch. She puts on a ton of bronzer and pretends to be Nicki Minaj. She also makes a rap song where she's in a rice hat.
That's what it was. I knew there were two incidents. I just conflated.
No, there's
them.
More than that. She does like a really long thing about how sluts are cunts. Which is the first time she gets canceled is because, the first time, I shouldn't say canceled. The first time people are like, whoa, that's fucked is when her long thing is like sluts or cunts. But I remember my wife watching Jenna Marbles during this period and me going, this is the most annoying person I've ever fucking heard in my life. Like she makes me want to like, kill her, make the noise stop, please.
Yeah.
And then she turned to like content that was more just like, I'm a fun lady having fun. Turns out I was just 23 and angry. Which is a lot of like we remember this obviously, like the
course
edgy girl fucking Sarah Silverman has had to disavow everything that made her famous.
Oh my god, that's how people
Sarah Silverman used to get on stage and say more like Martin Luther King.
yeah. Like there's literally a Sarah Silverman special you can't find out where she walks out. She just points at someone and goes, "You're black, that's bad," and then shits on them.
Yeah. She forces a shit, and that's the rest of the special. That was the thing, was like there was a character of like, I'm a pretty white lady, so I'm ignorant. Whereas Jenna Marbles is just like, And once again, man, if you're creating that much content, then you're just gonna do whatever's on your mind, and maybe you get stuck in traffic that day, and you just want blood, and I've given her a lot of benefit of the doubt. But anyway, fast forward to 2020, everyone. She gets 20 million subs, and her celebratory video is just her taking a nap, and she's like, I'm fucking tired of this. Basically, I'm fucking tired. You can look at it. Look at her page right now. It goes from like really high energy girl 10 years, and then it's literally like, I made my dog a cake. That's
my God. There's one of them where she just went, well, you're going to just sit quietly and reflect on some of the things you did. And it's a 45-minute video, and she's just sitting there quietly.
She's just blankly staring.
Yeah.
With every orifice that can have liquid in it just seeping out because she's turned her whole body off. It's like snot's coming out.
Yeah, she's crying. There's some sort of spinal fluid coming out of her ears.
Yeah, just like which is it must be so draining. Clearly she's like, I mean, and we see this a lot in comedy, relating it back to comedy, which we always do, is people who like they wanted to do comedy in their 20s and then they fast forward into their 40s.
Oh, my favorite.
They have no options anymore. This was something where in fucking the 80s where people was like, oh, you're funny for 5 minutes. We have $75,000 worth of work for you.
I have such respect and jealousy for a comedian named Deanie. Oh my God, what's her last name? Demakos, who literally said to me, is this all that just stand-up's going to be? Is like, I just go around the world and tell jokes. Like, I'd like to have more to life than this. And I was like, I think this is what it is. And she went, all right, I'm going to go do something else. And I think is very happy with a family. And it's just, you're like, fuck yeah, Deanie. And it was just the amount of comedians I've had where they're like, I just can't seem to get off this open mic. Well, it's been 12 years. Let's do another 12. And I just, that keeps me up at night screaming.
Well, the whole thing is you have to enjoy. Well, let's take a.
Oh, here we.
I don't know when this will be. I don't know when this will release, but like I was posting every day, and I went viral a couple times, but then I was like, didn't want to do it anymore. And I remember when I would not want to do stand up, I would always think to myself, well, you love it. You love the community. You love the lifestyle. You literally love absolutely everything about stand up. The reason you don't like this right now is because you're not getting the external approval. That's why you're mad. So take some time off, but you'll be back, and you'll be back. And then when I got fed up with posting on social media all the time, I was like, well, and then I started to go through the same things about stand up, and I was like, well, I don't like any of that. I think I'm just going to post way less. And that's where we are right now.
I like that. I like all of that. And
like, I don't fucking want to do that. Like, there's no, do I really enjoy posting a video? And best case scenario, it goes viral and all the comments are just like, fathead.
Yeah.
Fuck this guy. Hey, I found his social security insurance number. Let's fucking let's make sure he could never get a job. Like
what I really enjoy about nowadays is that we millennials, we shut up and we went, we don't like these systems. We're breaking them. And we've done that. But what we've crucially not done is replace them with anything. We just sort of replace them with things that sort of could be like, hey, there's no real way to advertise anything anymore. What's the replacement for that? You could take a photo of some stuff, and if you pay enough to this weird company, they might show it to people that like it. But those people will be in Ireland. Oh, fuck.
Exactly. It's not like the 50s anymore. There's not just 3 channels. Actually, there's 2 social media companies, so it's way more restricting.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck off.
Yeah, it's not like back in the 50s where there were 3 channels and no one was in charge of content. So if basically you found the TV station, you could be on the TV station, unlike the controlled times of now, where you have to basically have a small slush fund of thousands of dollars to be able to pay for the privilege of showing people that would like your thing that it exists.
Yeah, so Jenna Marbles clearly is upset with that. She does a big, long apology video where she does seem to genuinely regret what she said, but like and she quit, but it does, like I said off the top, it feels more like happenstance that she quit. Like it's like she would have just quit in a year for something else.
I also think that I could only imagine what was being said to her when that was discovered, when it was discovered, because she basically was one of the big scalps of basically George Floyd is killed, and some people instead like literally directed that inwards towards the internet and went hunting for anyone who done anything fucked up. So I guarantee, what Jenna Marbles did was so fucked. But I am sure also the level of vitriol she received in that moment, probably she was like, I'm done. I am. I remember the phone calls I had to have that weekend over some people of some of the things that were said to me that was so wild that I could only imagine what a public person like Jenna Marbles was receiving. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course, but she must still make hundreds of thousands of
I was
dollars.
going to ask you about that. Do you think because of that, because it's also like there's no Reels money anymore. She's not advertising anything. She just has basically the ability to hold to these people. Although that said, anytime any information comes out about her, like her fiance posted that they got married, it was the #1 trending thing on like on X. Sorry, Elon. Instagram, like it was everywhere. It's like one of those things where it's like it's so insane that she's bigger than Celine Dion, and she probably lives in like what am I talking about? She probably has a real nice McMansion in one of those places that like formerly super famous people live, like Missouri.
Yeah, exactly. And like her whole thing is like the company, the people she work for were like her mom. She had to pay a couple other people, but the whole idea behind her content and the whole thing she never strayed away from is this is a very informal me talking to the camera thing. Who was in the video? Her boyfriend, her now husband, and the dog. And like you listen to the ending podcast of I think the Jenna and Julian show, and it's like her boyfriend, husband now is really remorseful, but she's just like, yeah, it's ending. Like she's like, I'm fucking so done with this bullshit.
Yeah, because by the way, because guess what he's seeing leave the station? That money train. My money train.
He's still doing very, very well.
Okay, but he's not doing 19.8 million, and you haven't posted since the Trump administration.
He has like a couple million subscribers, and he's like a sixth. Exactly. Like she's one of the most followed accounts on YouTube, which is and it's always people must look inwards and just hear about that and then go like, maybe what I want's fucking dumb. Maybe I don't know who I am. But anyway, that's the Jenna Marbles episode. Now
I'd like to say this to everyone. Please join our Patreon. This is going to cut out in 1 minute. We love you. Join our Patreon. Dylan and I have YouTube comedy clips. If you want to support us, literally find us on YouTube. Do not go to Instagram. Find us on YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channels. This is the thing. Also, social media will die. It will only be YouTube one day. Please help us. Dylan has a family. I don't want to be cold. Please.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, buddy. If you fucking live in the Toronto area, let me bomb for your company. That helps too. Goodbye.